let me do this, is a member group within the AIA. And I know when I joined the SFX 3 years ago, I was like, what is a member group? Because if you're not in it, as you know, in the AIA lingo, there's a lot of things that I didn't understand. But a member group is essentially us volunteers engaging in the interests and deepening the knowledge of the profession through our members and through curated content, essentially. And so our group should be delivering kind of tailored output for our constituents, other small firm members within the AIA. And the goal of it is to really be elevating the practice and advocating for architecture. Now, the selfish thing is I think this should all be beneficial for us as individuals. Like if it is not beneficial for us as individuals, then it is not going to be beneficial for the people we're supposed to be communicating to. So that's something when I get to kind of the calendar, I would say, and also for the remainder of the year, we are just starting. I just want to take this opportunity. If you have an idea or a topic that is not going to be brought up in the rest of this conversation, but you feel like is just the most important thing, please reach out to me. It's, you know, I did the best I could as like an individual with some feedback from the board, but there is a diverse set of voices on this call, so please don't hesitate to reach out. This very pixelated graphic, which had I had additional time, I would have brought into Photoshop and fixed for the AIA. This was directly downloaded from their website, so this is the output directly from them. We live in this practice bubble right here. So there's the Strategic Planning Council, the Board of Directors up at the top. You know, the different groups directly under that, and kind of the different bubbles down here have to do with where we land. Now, as a practice member group, we've lived over here and we've lived over here. So we've kind of hopped between these two. But you could see we're in a circle with Global Practice Committee, the AIA Foundation, Large Firm Roundtable, and AIA Trust, which are their own kind of, they have their own funding mechanism. So that's why they're in this white circle with the dash line. And then you can see the component case, that's where Julie comes from us. So there is this level of, you know, cross-pollination that the AIA wants down here. And so a lot of our speakers are going to be coming from this level down here, as well as some people in the board level. So that's kind of how we fit into the matrix. Our mission, I'm just going to say the highlights, is we advocate, we curate and disseminate, and we inform. That's going to be our big goal for this year. These are the stats from 2021, the most current stats that are available. And this is how we're going to discuss representation. Small firms within the AIA, so people who are registered with memberships to the AIA, are 75% of all firms within the AIA. That is only 16% of individuals, though. So of all individual AIA members, only 16% are in those small firms. And we only represent 12% of the billings in the profession. This data, Kathleen and I updated for this presentation. And so I was able to see what it was for 2020. And the billings went down. So that's something I think piqued my ears, because I was like, uh-oh, that means we're maintaining the number of percentage of firms, we're maintaining pretty much the number of people, but the billings went down. So, okay, let's think about that for the future. Of the small firm size breakdown, and one thing we didn't get into when we were all putting our data in for firm size, firm size, and at least how we look at it in terms of your membership on this group, is architectural employees. So I know some small firms that have an admin staff of like 4 or 5, right? So they might have then a total firm size of 13 or 14, but a lot of them are admin size. But when we look at your applications for joining the small firm exchange, it's about essentially people who would be under your management or directly related to the field of architecture. If you are somebody with a large admin staff, I find that super fascinating, because I think as a small firm, overhead costs are very interesting to me. At least for me, that's the number I feel like I can control the most.
Is that the
And
same, Dana, for the national statistics also?
no, the
Or is
national
there,
statistics don't give any specificity to how they name small firm. They don't say of only architects, or of, they just say firm size. So we probably have representation in this group that is outside of this, that's in the 10 plus. Um,
No, it's very clear. It's full-time equivalent employees. It is not
yeah,
limited
sorry, full-time
to,
equivalent employees.
yeah.
But
So it's
sorry, yeah,
yeah.
different
so
numbers.
so the
Mhm.
billings versus people could actually mean that architects are making more money in small firms because there are less other people besides architects in large firms,
So there
theoretically.
um it's a pie. So I can tell you that large firms have increased over the past few years. That's taken out of medium and small firm percentages, but part of that is because there's been a spat of them buying each other, right? So that isn't the gross amount, right? The pie might be getting bigger. It's just when we look at the pie in context, we're seeing the pie change.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to bring this up is if you are in conversation with somebody in the SFX and they're like, well, we have 13 employees, and you're like, well, what are you doing here? They have admin staff that we as a small firm exchange kind of ignore. So just so you know.
Hey, Dana.
Yes.
Um, I am really curious about this because, as these representatives, which we are, we need to know who these small firms are in our communities. And I've been told at the state level that's not information that they have, but that the national level does have this information. And I'm wondering, is there a way for us to get a roster of the small firms in our states? Because I cannot figure out how to come up with it.
So I have some good news. National maintains a database, and they have created a field where they actually ask the size of the firm. So our problem before was that there was no place for someone to tell us. So there's a place now. So now our problem is to get people to fill it out. I will say that we use the same database. We make complementary reports for chapters. So when that data is useful, as in like there is data, they'll create a complementary report where a state could pull it out. And they may even be able to now. That was something I was going to look into after this call. But the data is there now. We have to encourage people to actually complete it. That's
Great.
the hard part.
Yeah, then in New Jersey, we got around it by sending out a poll to all members, and it was a really simple poll. We just asked for people to, click on the size of their firm and what their role is in the firm, and what that allowed us to do also was to ask if people wanted to be engaged in small firm level, and it ended up getting us almost instantaneously. We had 96 people sign up to engage with our small firm exchange.
Great. I'm trying.